Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Proftrof, and we are back again with another video by Gigguk. Gigguk, we've not seen my boy Gigguk in a while. Actually, it probably hasn't been a while. Whatever, bro, whatever. This is the problem with reviewing anime. Okay, let's check it out, boys. Let's check it out.
This video is sponsored by Raycon.
Okay.
The art of critiquing has probably existed since the beginning of man, when one Neanderthal turned to another while looking at some of the very first cave paintings
Bro, this Neanderthal's got some fucking big ass titties. What the hell?
ever created and said, ooga, 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 which roughly translates to, yeah, the light novel was better. Games, movies, books, all these mediums
Usually
have a pretty fail-safe formula when it comes to reviewing. You play, watch, or read the title in question, then you give your opinion on it. Sometimes you can even add a little score at the end so you can give everyone a reason to skip your actual review and just summarize all your nuanced opinions into a single numerical value. Hey, would you look at that? Has a little something for everyone. In recent times, reviewing outlets have become somewhat of a controversial topic, especially if they come from some sort of mainstream media outlet. But you can't deny that they do have an effect on their industry. It's an art form that has given people careers. Good review scores can have a tangible effect on sales and hype, but compared to other mediums, anime reviewing seems to be in this unique spot in that nobody really gives a shit about them. Hi, I'm Gigguk, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic no one really cares about for a problem that...
I mean, I tend to disagree with this. What do you mean, no one? Like, isn't that the first thing when you look at, if you're like, okay, let's say you guys are scrolling around my anime list for some new animes. I remember back in the day when I was inexperienced as an anime watcher, and you go around checking new animes. Well, first off, you look at the picture. Then you look at what type of anime it is, action, romance, whatever that fucking shit is. And then you watch the fucking score, no? I mean, how else do you make your
doesn't actually
decision if
matter.
you're gonna watch
Anime
them?
reviews is something I'll always hold near and dear to my heart because, well, it's where I found a lot of my early anime, and it's also where I found my own beginnings.
Hey, welcome
School
to my
days.
first anime review, and today I'll be reviewing Bleach.
This is the first video I ever created that I originally posted on YouTube over 13 years ago. It's a review of Bleach that I scripted, recorded, and edited in a day. And it is an atrocity. A pathetic attempt made by some 17-year-old kid trying to do his best zero punctuation impression, recorded with a $5 USB mic, making a bare bones Windows Movie Maker Google image slideshow, and worst of all, I gave Bleach a 7 out of 10. But you may be wondering what the big difference is between younger Gigguk's shitty opinion about anime and older Gigguk's shitty opinion about anime. Well, young Gigguk thought he knew what he was talking about because he had anime protagonist hair. Back then, anime reviews were the staple of anime critiques online. I can't count the number of new animes I discovered back then just because of specialized review sites, and myself trying to look for shows with high review scores. Damn, this has a 4-star on them anime reviews and an A on ANN? Shit, I better give this show a try. Right now though, I feel like anime reviews are in this weird spot in that they are kind of just a non-factor in our community. This is certainly not an attack on anyone still doing anime reviews, nor am I saying that they've completely disappeared either. But I feel like they have barely any impact compared to other mediums, with most of the stuff we see being closer to analysis and editorials, and I feel there are a few reasons for this. Unlike games or movies, there isn't as big of a wall to overcome that consumers need to commit to in order to consume the product. For games, it's a paywall. You want to know if the game is worth dishing out $60 before you get it, and with movies you generally want to make sure that it isn't a waste of time and money to go out and get a movie ticket and taking out a second mortgage to get the corresponding popcorn.
I mean, I'm not saying you should pirate movies that you're not certain you want to watch, but maybe you should pirate movies that you're not certain if you want to watch.
Drink set. Compared to that,
There's
who
like 5
really
million
needs a
sites
full
out there.
review when you can just chuck
VPN,
on an
brother.
episode or two of an anime you're interested in to see if it's a show you want to fully commit to watch? There isn't that same barrier as there was before of having to buy physical DVDs, or even just finding and downloading torrents was more time and effort. At least more time and effort than looking up review scores, because now shows are literally one click away. But not only that, by the time you can even properly review some of the hottest, newest anime, everyone's already moved on. To give a show a fair review, it's common sense to, well, watch the entire thing. But for the newest shows, by the time it's fully aired and you get your review out to general audiences, it's like, oh, what's that? You reviewed the show? That's cool, I'm already like watching the next season though. And
Yo, by the way, he's kind of right about this. What the fuck happened to anime? They're releasing so much fucking series, so many series all the time. Like, what the fuck happened? I feel like anime back couple years ago was like, okay, we release some shit now, we release some other shit now, okay, some more shit. Now it's like, Here's all your shit. Another month goes by. Here's all your shit again. Did you finish watching them? No, well, that doesn't matter, boy.
I
Come
find
on.
this has a unique
Like,
effect
come
on our
on, bro.
community compared to others. We don't have a Metacritic or a Rotten Tomatoes giving us a metric score of curated
Going to Rotten Tomatoes for scores. Press joke in the fucking video.
and
so
because
far.
of this, a lot of hype is completely community driven, even with how much more popular anime has gotten. But what this means is that what ends up getting watched isn't necessarily the best shows, it's just what can make the most noise as quickly as possible. But beyond this, it is hard to review anime in the traditional sense compared to mediums like games or movies, and recently there's been two shows in particular that have really made me think about the reason for this. Attack on Titan and ReZero. Let's start with Attack on Titan. If you've seen my video, Attack on Titan is incredible now, you'll probably know my opinion on the series, and if you haven't, you can still probably guess that my opinion is that it's incredible.
Now.
Last year, this is the show that absolutely blew me away. There are a few words I can use to describe just how good this show has become and how much it's filled its potential. Every season has been building on its previous foundation, then consistently exceeding itself time after time after time after time. And just when you think it can't get any better, it does it again. And with the final season just around the corner, with every manga reader hyping it up as even better than everything that came before, I honestly feel this could have the potential to become the era-defining anime. But if you had asked me what I thought 7 years ago during the 4-year-long wait before season 2, I would have said, Attack on Titan? Yeah, it was alright. It was a fun ride, but that was pretty much it. I don't want to repeat myself too much.
No, come on, bro. The first season was like, yeah, shit. I feel like the second season was more of a letdown than like, not really a letdown, because it's good, okay, it's fucking good, but the first season was like, oh my fucking god. Y'all remember what happened with the Attack on Titan released? Literally everyone was fucking watching it. Everyone was watching that shit. Like, even people that don't watch anime were watching that shit. So it was a big deal, the first
That's
season.
what I've already said, because there's also ReZero. Now, if you've seen my video, ReZero is no masterpiece, but it's still damn entertaining. You probably know my opinion on the series, and if you don't, you can still probably take a guess. It's no masterpiece, but it's still damn entertaining. Are we really doing this right now? I very much enjoyed ReZero, but ultimately it didn't leave too deep an impression on me. My main problem was that things just seemed to be happening for no reason. It didn't feel like there was a main driving force to
One can say there is zero reason for things happening.
the plot or any overarching goal. The biggest thing I left with was Subaru suffering about 20 different ways. It was a fun ride, but once it ended, it just felt empty. The world was hella interesting
Holla.
and the characters seemed great, but I didn't know what the core plot was. I didn't know what everything was meant to be leading up to. And while there has been way more discourse highlighting the nuances around its world and themes and what the show was trying to say, my opinion has remained largely the same for those reasons. Fast forward to now, we have half of season 2 out and it's already addressed some of the biggest issues I had. A grand plot with goals is becoming clearer, we have somewhat of an antagonist group now. Subaru has been given time to really develop as a character and we have way more of an understanding of his motivations and why he acts the way he does. All the scattered pieces seem to be forming into a coherent whole, and on top of all that you have Echidna. Best girl, fuck you Rem, sorry Beatrice. But at the same time, now that we're given a glimpse of the sheer scale of this world and the story, I very much doubt season 2 will even come close to showing everything this series has to offer. But the more I see, the more I am absolutely impressed with. If you look at the journey I've had with both these series, you start to see a very similar pattern. I was left with a concrete opinion that remained for years, which eventually got shattered when a lot of the pitfalls I originally had were completely addressed or solved in later seasons. Many more of the subtle nuances in the plot become clearer, sometimes recontextualizing massive events we never gave a second thought to, which can completely change the way I view a show now that a season isn't being judged in its own bubble. Which begs the question, was it fair to judge a series that I knew was incomplete, or were the problems I even had valid in the first place? And when I thought about it like that,
Of course it is. Listen, buddy. When Supernatural first season came out, the people that reviewed Supernatural season 1 weren't like, hey bro, I feel like in the next 20 years there's gonna be like 12 more seasons. Y'all maybe think we should, wait them out? Come on, buddy, that's not even...
I realized that I could apply this to the vast majority of anime that I watch. The reality is, these series never existed in a bubble. They always had a manga or light novel that continued the story and explored it in greater depth than any short season ever could.
Plus, with anime, you never know when that shit is not gonna get a second season because someone decided not to throw in $20 in there for animation.
Manga or light novel that continued the story and explored it in
Bacano.
greater depth than any short
What happened,
season ever
brother?
could. ReZero Season
Or is
1
it
was
Bacano? I
barely a
don't know how to pronounce
prologue,
it.
but if you're an anime-only watcher, you had no choice but to judge it on its own. But my god, does this breed the most toxic interactions when it comes to anime-only critiques versus manga readers? One of the most annoying things you encounter in this community is this notion that if you're not completely caught up to date with the title on every medium it's available in, then any criticisms or opinion you have
True.
completely become invalidated.
People are bitches
Plot
about that
holes
shit.
addressed in later volumes. Annoying characters? Oh, well, they have this flashback 200 chapters later that makes them less of a dickhead. Any conceivable problem you can have with anything regarding the series? Nope. Go read the source material. You are wrong. La 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 la. There will always be a disconnect between manga and light novel readers and anime-only watchers, but there must be a happy medium where we can all see eye to eye. Like, on one hand, I do think any adaptation should be judged in merit, divorced from the source material, but on the other hand, I think it's important to recognize from both sides that most adaptations are, and always have been, incomplete. I've talked before about how, as an anime fan, you get used to getting invested in worlds and stories that you may never and probably will never see the ending of. And a lot of the times, those stories hardly even scratch the surface. Fireflies has gone down in history as a cult classic of a great television program that got shafted way too early, leaving an incomplete story. But for us anime fans, that's the norm. It's like if the vast majority of games you ever played
Okay. High School of the Day, we cannot really blame them. The dude died, okay? We cannot really blame them. So, rest in peace, my guy.
It's like if the vast majority of games you ever played were in
School
early access
Dead
and
or
you'd
whatever
never
it's
know if
called.
you'd be able to get to play the finished
Hey,
product.
Final Fantasy
Sometimes you can
15.
wait a fucking decade and out of nowhere a
Fairy
new patch
boobies.
gets announced. But even then, it'll still be far from the finished product. Now, imagine if 80% of every game you ever played was like that. Well, that's what it's like to be an anime fan. And it probably always will be, as a lot of these shows are just seen as glorified advertisements for the source material. Maybe anime fans and manga readers were destined to never see eye to eye. Maybe traditional review outlets were never meant to be a big part of our community. I just find it funny how despite anime is growing closer to mainstream every year, this is one of the big differences that seems to remain. Look, I don't want you to get the wrong idea about everything I've said. Am I trying to say that every review on Mao is essentially worthless? Yes. But that's okay, because it means all our reviews are as worthless as each other. I'm kinda glad there's no centralized critic or media outlets, and all the hype is for the most part community driven. We may have people's opinion who you listen to and trust, but that's likely because it was built up over time, rather than just because they were paid by an organization, and that just means the focus on our community isn't to find the most highly respected and acclaimed anime, but just the shows that resonate with you and your taste. Because if there's a medium for every taste, this is it. I don't pretend to be a reviewer anymore. A lot of people misunderstand my videos as, oh, hey, Gigguk did another positive review for another show. He just hypes up every show. Well, firstly, these aren't reviews. I just want to share some shit I like or find interesting. And secondly, no shit I'm going to talk about them positively. Have you seen how many shows we have to pick from nowadays? It's 2020. Who the fuck has time to waste by watching things they don't like anymore? Back when I started, anime reviews held more weight because more often than not, we were talking about things we'd already finished, and you did have to go out and spend money to watch them, or at the very least, run the risk of getting your dad's laptop and STD on LimeWire. Nowadays, no one needs a traditional review of Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia because everyone's already seen them and everyone can watch them so easily. So the audience for reviews, or basically nowadays more likely discussions of modern series, aren't people looking to see if something's worth their time. It's often looking for an opinion to compare theirs to, waiting for that number at the end so they can shout about how bad the reviewer is. Or, let's be real, waiting for that sweet old validation, baby. Yeah, that's right, you know what I mean. Have no fear, your opinion's correct. Someone on the internet told you so. Did you hear that, Mom? Maybe you know what it feels like one day, Super Gear fans. In conclusion, I guess what I was trying to say is this video is kind of stupid. 4 out of 10. Go read the manga for full context.
And after you read the manga, go read the light novel because you didn't get the full context. Shit happens, brother.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. I just want to give a quick thank to the sponsor of today's
Oh, okay. Well, that was Gigguk's the problem with reviewing anime. I agree about some points, I disagree about some points. Doesn't really matter at the end, but it was a pretty cool video. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Buddy, have a nice fucking day. Oi, fuck.